What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Blancmange, and we're returning to the 1984 album Mange Tout. Did I get it right this time? I'll work on it. Once again, big shout out to Mr. Solo for sharing the Blancmange material, and as I mentioned in my last reaction, there's a handful of tracks from this record I did already react to when I was going through some of their greatest hits. So jumping ahead, we're up to the tune Murder, which is both a noun and a verb. Obviously, it relates to the killing of someone. Now, in that regard, there's a more literal understanding of the word, which is to say biological murder, the violent attack of someone's body and the stopping or the damaging of their organs such that their heart stops and their brain no longer receives oxygen and they die in a physical sense. Of course, you can also murder someone figuratively in terms of emotional murder or social murder, the severe damaging or indeed destruction of their social network, of their psycho-emotional well-being. So I don't quite know how to take it, and again, it could be the act of that, murder as a verb, or a description of what has happened, murder as a noun. So I'll see what I can catch on a first listen while Luca finds her comfortable place on her chair. Yes, there was a mug cat there, but now you are a literal cat there. Let's give it a listen. This is Blancmange. The tune is Murder, and it's from their 1984 album Mange Tout. found the tune very compelling for multiple reasons. And I gotta say, I did a reaction to a Simple Minds track in the same batch called Cacophony, and this actually felt more cacophonous than that tune. So, yes, very dynamic and intense sonically, lots of syncopated rhythms, almost like this metallic industrial sound to a lot of the sonics. Sometimes the sonics being very like sharp and powerful and intense, like in their rhythm, and other times coming in like very frantically, almost like manic and overwrought a little bit, but not in a bad way, seemingly in a very deliberate and intentional way. And then of course we get a vocal and a couple moments in the middle of it referencing what still might be my favorite Blancmange tune, Feel Me Now, but as part of a larger series of lines about the mindset of the narrator as it relates to what might happen. And he's literally saying, I don't know what this will lead to if you keep pushing me, if you keep pressing me, time will tell. And what was the female vocal that was repeated? Like, something like, watch out now, or like, essentially it was a warning. So I like the way there's a couple different vocal lines that are seemingly internal and external, but suggesting that the person being spoken to should really be careful because murder might be coming. And I feel like maybe the sonic atmosphere is a window into the psycho-emotional state of the narrator. Everything is very dissonant and discordant and jumbled together and sharp and grating and uncomfortable, and he's at least cogent enough to say, you're pushing me toward what could be a murderous mind frame or a state of mind, so, time will tell what's going to happen here. But it's essentially a warning and a declaration of emotional state of being in a way that is ultimately reflected, I think, in the sonics. So yeah, definitely, not like a finger snapping, foot tapping, catchy type of tune, but one that I was very riveted to and I find highly compelling. So again, his vocals in that moment when he said "Feel Me Now," it really took me to what initially really caught my ear and my brain when I started listening to Blancmange, with that tune in particular, where there was this fire and intensity to the vocals. And here it's a bit, it's not quite as forceful in that way, although even that tune, it's scaled up, right? It's like he's saying it in a more calm tone and then suddenly he ramps it up to where he's shouting it. But here it feels like he's on the edge of losing it, but it's prior to that actually happening. So yeah, curious if I'm hearing the lines correctly. Do offer insight if you have some. And ultimately, again, it seems like this is a group that is, technically in the umbrella label of what you could call synth pop, but on their own eccentric path in that regard. And this tune maybe even more so than some of the others I've heard. So I enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of it, and I will see you next time. Peace.